Hi everyone, this is Manideepak. Welcome to Momentum Lab. In this session, I'm going to talk about another issue that we recently encountered with the Yahoo Finance library. If you remember in the previous video, which I link in the description, we talked about how we started seeing a multi-level index as an output from Yahoo Finance library and how did we solve that using this option. So if you have seen that video closely, or if you've seen that output closely, you would have seen adjusted close as a column in the output. But if you today run the same code, you'll see something different. You don't see the adjusted close price anymore. And what's even interesting is is that if you see the close price, it seems to be close to the adjusted close price from what you've seen earlier, right? If you see the close price now, like on 3rd of November 2022, see 3200.149, and the same adjusted close price on 3rd of November 2022, whereas the close price is slightly higher, right? So that means what Yahoo Finance is now giving as an out is the adjusted close price. So it's auto adjusting the price before giving you the close price. So if you really wanted the close price and not just the adjusted close price, there's another option that you need to add to this, which is called auto adjust equal to false. So when you run this, you will then see what you were seeing earlier, which is you will also see the adjusted close price. You will see the close price as well, and high, low, and volume. So if someone is running this code without this option and is trying to access the adjusted close price, and you have a code constructed around that already, you would be seeing that code throwing an error now, right? And if you are trying to fix that, this is one way to do that. Now, given that we're talking about adjusted close price, I wanted to take a step back, give a quick primer about what is adjusted close price, how is it calculated, and why is that even required, right? Let me answer the last question first, which is why is adjusted close price even required? So this is required because the company would sometimes give away dividends, sometimes splits the stocks. In those cases, what you would see is that the the price, the close price, would fluctuate accordingly based on the dividends given, based on the stock split, etc. So if you are doing a historical analysis, a backtesting, or a portfolio performance analysis, considering historical data, what you would like to see is normalized scores so that you can compare today's price with last year's price, maybe, right? Or you're doing some technical analysis where you're computing moving averages, doing a trend analysis. It's really important for you to look at these adjusted close prices than just looking at close prices. I'll probably demonstrate this with an example. So if I want to see the dividends for ABB in this case, then what you can simply do is you can add actions equal to true, and that should ideally give you the dividends and if there are any stock splits, etc. Now, let me put this data into an Excel and show you how adjusted close prices are actually computed. So the way I've arranged this data, which you'll get to know why later, is I started with the latest date, which is 30th of Jan 2025, and went backwards from there, right? So if you see here, the adjusted close price and the close price are exactly the same, right? For today's data, for the latest data. Now let me add a column here which computes the difference between these two and scroll this to the end. If you see, it's mostly zero until a time when there is actually a dividend given to the shareholders. So on 23rd of August 2024, there's a dividend of about 10.66. And the day before that, you see that there is a difference in close price and the adjusted close price. It seems to be very close to the dividend that is given, right? So this is how it is actually computed, right? So let me actually calculate another column called adjusted factor. And the way this is calculated is I take the close price of this date minus the dividend upon the close price of this date again. So one thing that you need to notice here is that once a dividend is given to the shareholders, the price usually drops. Now, assuming all other factors remain as is, this should be the case because when you are giving away dividend, that means you're distributing some amount of value to the shareholders. Obviously, the existing value of the company should reduce, right? So that's what is happening here, right? So when you look at 22nd August price, you'll see it's higher than the 23rd August close price, right? So there's nothing wrong with the firm. They're just distributing the value back to the shareholders. So ideally, you shouldn't consider this as the drop in the share price, right? At least the amount of drop that is caused due to dividend should be adjusted. Right? So now that's what we're trying to do with the adjusted close price. Now, the way I'm doing that is through the adjustment factor. Now, when I'm calculating this, what I'm trying to do here is that I'm trying to understand what is the amount of value that is taken away from the existing price by giving away 10.66. So what we lost is roughly about 0.2%. Right? If I consider this as 99.8%, so we're losing a value of about 0.2% from the existing price. So that's what we will multiply with the rest of the prices to adjust the close price. Now, let me calculate that here. Let me call this calculated adjusted close. And if I multiply this close price with this adjustment factor, and now the new difference here between the calculated adjusted price and the adjusted close price should be negligible, right? Now, let me actually freeze this and compute the calculated adjusted close for all the previous days. So this is exactly what is happening, right? When, let's say, a dividend is shared today, all the prices are retroactively or retrospectively modified to adjust to this dividend that is shared, right? So you have to keep in mind that the adjusted close prices can change historically, right? What is the adjusted close price today might be different tomorrow. Now, if you see here, roughly the difference is zero between the calculated adjustments and the adjusted close that we see from Yahoo Finance until a time when there is a new dividend or a dividend that was given in the past. Now, what is happening here is from the next day, you will again see a difference. So that means you need to adjust the close prices from this day and backwards. So we compute the adjustment factor again, which is the close price minus the dividend upon the close price. Now, what you do here is along with this adjustment that was already there, would also add this adjustment. So let me freeze that. And that's when your calculated adjusted close will be very close to the adjusted close price. Now I will again pass these adjustments backwards. And again, you will see that the new difference between the calculated adjusted close price and the adjusted close price is roughly zero. So this is how you can understand how adjusted close prices are calculated in Yahoo Finance, or for that matter, any data source or any data provider. And I hope this will help you understand how this actually works in reality. All right. Thank you so much. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section.